$3.8 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. That is the staggering amount of money that was literally stolen from decentralized finance protocols in 2022 alone. And honestly, that doesn't even count the billions more that just vanished into thin air through scams. So if you're looking at DeFi right now and you're lured by that promise of just connecting a wallet and earning, say, 8% while you sleep without having to deal with a bank manager or endless paperwork, well, you really need to keep this number in mind first.
You know, TikTok and Twitter influencers absolutely love to sell this illusion of magical, effortless passive income. But here is the hard truth they always seem to leave out. In DeFi, you are the bank, and banks get robbed. Think about it. When you take out the middleman, you're also completely taking out your safety net. There is no 1-800 customer service hotline you can call when things go sideways. You're taking on the extremely high stakes of self-custody.
So welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking DeFi risks every beginner must know, a survival guide. Now look, I'm not here to scare you away from the genuinely incredible technology of decentralized finance. Not at all. Instead, think of this as a framework designed specifically to make sure you actually survive it. We're going to break down the exact tools, the red flags, and the daily habits that separate the folks who lose everything from the ones who keep their funds safe and make it through their first year intact.
To pull that off, we're going to tackle 5 crucial survival training modules today. We'll run through code risks, human risks, personal security, math risks, and finally, we'll put together your ultimate survival kit.
Okay, let's dive into this right away with our first major threat, the technology itself. Section 1, code risks.
To really get DeFi, you have to understand smart contracts. But actually, scratch that. Forget the word contract for a minute. I want you to think of it more like a giant vending machine. In a traditional contract, if something goes wrong, you need a judge or a lawyer to step in, interpret things, and enforce the rules, right? But a smart contract? It's a vending machine living on Ethereum. You put in one asset, you push a button, and the machine spits out another. No human approves it. The rules are permanently welded into the machine, and once it's deployed, nobody can change them. Basically, code is absolute law, and that is terrifying if there happens to be a bug. Take the first really big DeFi project back in 2016 called the DAO. It had just one buggy line of code. A hacker figured it out and used it to ask the machine for a refund over and over and over again, draining $60 million. The code didn't care what the original developer actually intended. It literally just did exactly what was written.
So how do we actually evaluate that code? A lot of beginners see the word audited stamped on a website and think, great, it's bulletproof. Nope. You need to use this 3-factor safety check. First up, look at total value locked, or TVL, alongside age. You really want protocols that have over $500 million locked up and have been alive and kicking for over 2 years. That means they are genuinely battle-tested. Second, look for multiple audits, and I mean from top-tier security firms. And third, bug bounties. Ask yourself, does this project offer $1 million to white-hat hackers to find bugs for them? You've got to treat all code as guilty until proven innocent through years of actual operation.
But you know, code isn't the only danger out there. Let's move right into Section 2, human risks. Here, we're talking about malicious creators executing what the crypto world calls a rug pull. It's the #1 killer for beginners chasing those massive 1,000% APY dreams. Back in 2021, there was this token hyped up on the Netflix Squid Game name. It shot from just 1 single penny up to $2,800. And then, in literally a single block on the chain, it plummeted to 0. The developers just dumped their tokens, drained the entire liquidity pool, and vanished with $3.3 million. And the victims were completely trapped because the code was literally written to block them from selling.
To avoid falling for something like that, you have to build a mandatory habit. I call it the 60-second rug check. Before you even think about buying a new token, do this. Step 1, check the liquidity lock. Is more than 80% of the liquidity pool securely locked for over 6 months? If the answer is no, stop right there. Step 2, check the holders. If you see that the top 5 wallets own more than 40% of the total supply, that is a massive, massive dump risk. Step 3, ensure the contract is verified and renounced. If the so-called owner can just magically mint new tokens or pause trading whenever they feel like it, run away. A good rule of thumb, if you can't sell $1 of a token just to test the waters, definitely don't buy $100 of it.
Now, even if the code is totally safe and the developers are saints, there's still another major point of failure. Section 3, personal security.
The harsh reality here is that 80% of individual losses are actually self-custody mistakes. They're not protocol hacks. So let me ask you directly, is your bank vault wide open right now? Because in DeFi, Your wallet is the vault. You could pick the absolute safest protocol on planet Earth, but if you leave the front door wide open, none of it matters.
The one true key to that vault is your seed phrase. This is that random 12 or 24-word master key you're given when you first set up a wallet. I literally cannot emphasize this enough. Anyone who gets their hands on these words can restore your wallet on any device anywhere in the world and take 100% of your funds, instantly and irreversibly. It belongs solely on a physical piece of paper or stamped in metal, hidden safely away. You never take a screenshot of it on your phone, you never type it into a Google Doc, and absolutely under no circumstances do you ever hand it over to support in a random Discord direct message. Scammers know exactly how valuable those words are, which is why their top plays are phishing and what I call silent killers. They'll literally buy fake Google ads so you accidentally click on UNIS swap instead of Uniswap. They'll dangle these tempting fake airdrops to get your attention. But honestly, the most insidious silent killer out there is something called unlimited token approvals. When you interact with a DeFi app, it asks for permission to spend your tokens. If you casually hit approve for unlimited, a hacker who breaches that app, say 2 years from now, can drain your wallet entirely without you ever lifting a finger. They act like ticking time bombs. That exact scenario recently cost one trader $50,000 in Ethereum. You absolutely must use tools like revoke.cash to cancel these out. Moving right along, let's talk about a threat where you don't even need a hacker to wipe you out. Section 4, math risks. This section is all about brutal market economics. See, in DeFi, you can take out loans against your crypto. The safety buffer for your loan is something called a health factor. Here is the absolutely crucial thing to know. If your health factor ever drops below 1.0, you are liquidated. Boom, done. Automated liquidators instantly step in, repay your debt, seize your collateral, and take a 5% penalty fee on top of it. And since crypto is wildly volatile, if Ethereum suddenly crashes 30% overnight, the value of your collateral shrinks, your health factor tanks, and poof, you lose your assets. So always borrow safely and keep that health factor well above 1.5. And these math risks also apply to stablecoins. These are tokens that are supposed to always equal exactly $1, but they can break. That's an event called a depeg. For example, in March 2023, Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, trapping $3.3 billion of reserves for the USDC stablecoin. Total panic set in, and USDC suddenly dropped to 87 cents on exchanges. If you had loans against it at that moment, you were liquidated. To survive this specific math risk, you've got to follow the stablecoin diversification rule. Never hold 100% of your cash in just one stablecoin. Split it up. Try something like 50% USDC, 30% DAI, and 20% USDT. Okay, we've covered a lot of the major threats. Now it's time to actually build your defenses. Section 5, the survival kit. Let's rapid fire through these 5 non-negotiable survival rules. Number 1, the 5% rule. For your first 90 days in DeFi, put a maximum of 5% of your net worth into it. Consider it your tuition money while you learn the ropes. Number 2, blue chips only. Stick strictly to the giants like Aave, Uniswap, and MakerDAO, the ones that actually survived the last brutal bear market. Number 3, if you're holding over $1,000 in crypto, a hardware wallet is mandatory, period. No excuses. Number 4, set a monthly revoke day on your calendar to go in and clear out those unlimited token approvals we talked about earlier. And finally, number 5, bookmarks only. Delete Google search from your DeFi routine entirely. Just bookmark the official, verified sites. Phishing scams literally stop the moment you stop searching for links. Remember, good habits beat intelligence every single time. I want you to always remember this really hard truth about magical yields. If the annual percentage yield, the APY, is over 20%, it's not yield. Real sustainable yield in this space is usually around 3 to 8%. Anything over 20% is either a temporary token reward that's about to be dumped, it's a straight-up Ponzi scheme, or you are unknowingly taking on some monumental hidden risk. Risk management is infinitely more important than chasing profits. If you look at a protocol and you honestly don't know where the yield is coming from, you are the yield. So write down an emergency plan before things go wrong, because making panic decisions in the heat of the moment is exactly what causes the biggest losses. Decentralized finance is this beautifully incredible tool that finally gives you true ownership of your assets. But with that kind of ultimate power comes absolute responsibility. Ultimately, DeFi rewards the paranoid. So take a hard look at your portfolio right now. Are you truly the master of your own vault, or are you just waiting around to be someone else's yield?